Good evening, subscribers. As we know, narcissists respect basically nothing but themselves, as they see themselves as the greatest that ever was at everything, God's gift to everything they touch. They're just the best that's ever been. I think they all wake up and listen to that song from Karate Kid every morning. You're the best around. But, whereas that song was used in an 80s montage to rally an underdog who had a extremely talented mentor and most importantly put in the work and effort to become what he became. Narcissists believe that they were born the best at everything, and it could be something they'd never heard of before, and they're by definition automatically the best because they're them and they're the most desirable, sought after thing in the world. And also, they think they have the right to do whatever they want to whomever they want with impunity because they're the ones doing it, and whoever they're doing it to should be honored to be chosen by, well, the chosen. So that gets into my point. What am I getting at? How narcissists don't respect boundaries at all. And this can manifest in many specific ways. This can manifest in, if you are a child, particularly a minor child, and you have a narcissistic parent, as I did. My mother was a borderline. My father was the quintessential enabler who, did nothing to mitigate my mother's insanity, which not only was she a borderline, her insanity was fueled by cocaine, and then as she got older, opiates and Xanax. But he did nothing but, yes, dude, a 5'2", lustful, angry dragon lady of a witch was able to subdue a 6'4" ex-Marine. Yeah, you wouldn't think that. My mother's magic was powerful. In her own way, she was a force to be reckoned with. And we were a good team when we were on the same side, which wasn't often, but when we were seeking to expose, a woman beater or, an abusive man of some kind, particularly in my teen years, there were a couple times. I was reminded one time, because in my current job, I work in the King of Prussia Mall at a higher end retailer, and I had to go to Macy's to, I work in loss prevention. I had to, this isn't our stuff, so I had to go to Macy's. I hadn't been there since I was a teenager, and I was reminded of this time where my mother, who was a barber and occasionally would teach at the barber college, one of her students long ago, this was like 2004, so I was like 17 at the time, and my modeling agency that I'm with now, when I was with back then, is also located like less than a mile away. Anyway, this young 20-something was dating this, what I now know to be a covert narc. He was a manager, a suit salesman, full of himself, thought he was saving the world, selling overpriced suits. He's, just a douchebag. My mother, because this girl that she was mentoring worked there part-time as well, that's how they met. So she was able to give my mom the intercom code to get on a phone and announce something to the whole store. Called this guy out in front of the whole store, and I'm there. And of course, narcissist being called out, wheels are turning, people can see, like, that makes sense. I never thought of that way. You know how it goes. So this guy knew, like, the jig was up, the mask was off. So he goes to turn violent. He was like 6'1", probably 210. There I am, like 17 years old, basically the size I am now, a little more cut. It's easier to be cut when you're 17 as opposed to 37, but I don't look it now, do I? So a fight broke out, and I made sure he swung first. Upper Marion PD came, and it's like, there's cameras everywhere. It's like, so this guy was like in his late 20s at the time. It's like, so you're like 28, and you swung first against a minor, and you're trying to get him in trouble because he then tackled you through a display case. It's like, no, we're gonna give the kid the pat on the back. Oh, and he's an EMT already at his young, tender age. It's like, You got all the makings of a hero, kid. That's what the cop, well, the sergeant at the scene told me. Oh, that was a glorious day. I even, never mind. Okay. I even was propositioned by this pretty 22, 23-year-old. I had a girlfriend at the time, and me being a demisexual, of course I didn't take her up on it, but the offer was made. Now that we got my side story out of the way, we'll get back to the point. That's my thing. I do a side story almost every video. If you don't like it, well, there's plenty of other narcissism channels. I think it adds flair. Anyway, the narcissist will never respect your boundaries. As I said, a narcissistic parent sees you as a reflection of them. They're dulled reflection. You exist to make them look good, to make them seem like the ultimate parent. So any boundary that you have, anything that you see as overstepping, they see as their right, because you exist only to please them. This only gets worse in the more common aspect with a narcissistic partner. Particularly, I'm going to focus mainly on if you're a female dating a covert narcissistic male, because most covert narcs are male. Conversely, most borderlines are female. But covert narcissistic men, you are a trophy, you are property. You are arm candy, you are an accessory. You exist only to be a part of his world. Your hopes, your dreams, your ambition, your career, your wants, your desires mean nothing. You should be bowing to the pharaoh. And I say pharaoh, not king, because pharaohs were living gods in the eyes of their people. That's what a covert narc sees himself as, both king and god at the same time. Pharaonic rule, baby. So you are just the concubine of this self-proclaimed pharaoh, and you should be honored that he chose you, because of course he could have anyone he desires, because he's the greatest that has ever been, and all desire him. Well, not really, but in that twisted mind, of course. So overstepping boundaries can be emotionally. They believe they can say anything to you, whenever, wherever, and you're just supposed to roll with it. Don't you dare cry. Don't you dare make a scene and make Pharaoh look bad, because you're there to make Pharaoh look good. You should be lucky you're with Pharaoh. Pharaoh's doing you a favor, even though a lot of the times when you see these covert narcs, they're good bullshitters. I can't take that away from them. They're good bullshitters. A lot of them work in sales because they're good bullshitters and liars. Oh, if only I could lie. My life would be a lot easier. Damn you, integrity. You're a harder mistress to serve than Lilith. And Lilith's quite demanding and awesome, but demanding, particularly if you're male. So, where was I? Right. So, you're there to serve the great pharaoh, and of course the pharaoh could do much better, even though a lot of the times these women that are with these covert narcs are out of their league, but they pick the same type INFJ men go for, the ENFJ women who have trouble saying no and have confidence issues, although we try to empower them and introduce them to Lilith and see their full potential and their charisma and see how everybody admires them because they're so caring and understanding and people respect them and say they're the best. And Narcissist is like, no, how can I cage you and make you a slave girl? And no one will dare stop me because most people are too cowardice to call me out. Haha, because I am an ENTP man and I fool the sheep. As long as there's not a dragon in the sky. Oh, they're so rare. I will not encounter a dragon. What? What are you? Blue dragon. What is that? Sigil Lilith. Male Lilithan, yeah. You're not real. Seem pretty real to me. And then they piss themselves. Because it's like, it's like finding out that one of their nightmares is actually real. Oh, don't you know who I am? And I know what you are too, and I can spot you a mile away. And your day of reckoning has arrived. Anyway, so that's what they'll do. They'll abuse you emotionally, and if we're being honest, because that's what this channel's about, covert narcs, and I said this in other videos, and here goes my monetization, will not respect your boundaries. Let's just say, I'm pointing towards my bedroom. There, either they believe they can do whatever they want to you there, because again, you're not only their property, but you're the, should be honored that they chose you, because in their mind, everybody wants them. And a lot of times, like, these covert narcs are average looking guys with dad bods, but they see themselves as models with six packs, and they'll even act like they are amongst like actual models with six packs. Trust me, I know, because I am one. A model with a six pack, not a covert narc, just to be clear. So, do they understand boundaries at all? No, because in their mind, they're the center of the world. The world revolves around them, and you're lucky to be a part of it. I can't hammer that point home enough. And what they do, because they're such good salesmen, is they will yes you to death. Yeah, nod, put on a good performance, put the mask on, make it seem like they understand what you're getting at, where they're coming from, and they're going to change their ways. No, they won't. Perhaps very briefly, when a narcissist, particularly a covert narcissist, which can mask their behavior, albeit briefly, sees their supply slipping away, their trophy in this case slipping away, they will be on their best behavior for a couple of weeks, just long enough to make what they want to be their slave girl seem as if that they are really changing, as if they broke through, as if they understand. They don't. It's an act. But again, they're good bullshitters, they're good liars, they're good salesmen. They do just enough to give that person hope, albeit false hope, that, oh, it's a rough patch, things are going to get better. Things are never going to get better. Here is some hard truth. And this is coming from a male Lilithan whose sisters so affectionately call him the breaker of chains for the amount of narcissistic relationships I've broken up. Somehow I'm better at it of reaching these women than the girls. I know it makes no sense, and yet I do it. Just by telling the truth and using my intuition. Because I'm a terrible liar and I'm an INFJ, so my intuition's good. Oh, and I don't really care what people think about me unless you're whatever female I'm interested in romantically at the time, which I have to have an emotional connection to, and can only have that with one female at a time. So, as you can see, people's opinion very few matter to me at any given time. The changes aren't real. What they're trying to get into this woman's head is that the person they were pretending to be, the covert narcissist, to get that out of their league woman into their bed, that was an act, that was a character. And then the real them emerges, and they do their games of more and more control, of isolating her from her friends and family, and trying to get her to move in, and if she starts slipping away, trying to get her to move away so he can completely isolate her into his world. Because again, his world is the only world that matters. Everything revolves around him and his connections, his career, his friends, his mental state, which is never stable. And she's just supposed to be like, oh my God, I'm so happy to be a part of it. You should be like the ruler of the world and famous, and oh my God. That's what they see themselves as, the pedestal that the covert narc puts themselves on. Well, you cannot see it. It's that high up. They're like, covert narcs, it's like, yeah, I'm basically the second coming. Why? What have you done? Who have you raised from the dead? Who have you saved? Oh, I sell jet skis, or I sell overpriced suits in a dying industry. Okay, you just claim to be a hero. Who have you saved? Well, man, all I've done for this company. Corporations aren't people, motherfucker. Now there goes my monetization. But regardless, that's the point I'm trying to get across. They will keep overstepping these boundaries. They don't understand what a boundary is. If you are foolish enough or tricked and don't know what a narcissist is, to date them, from day one, you're their property, and they dictate every aspect of your life and feel they have the right to. And any understanding you get, it's just lies. It's just a sales pitch to keep you buying into the lies and the bravado and the facade that the covert narc is playing to keep you as their property. And they'll keep breaking you down, breaking your confidence, convincing you you don't have free will, and I assure you, you do. If you don't believe me, ask this girl. She defied God himself, if you're in the Abrahamic religions, and, became a queen in her own right. So it can be done. Understand it's all a facade. It's never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And no, they don't understand or care about you. You are just a trophy, a source of supply that they greatly enjoy getting, and they will keep pushing you down to keep their fake pedestal afloat. A pedestal that's a house of cards at best, and that any amount of truth, any person who can see through them and is brave enough to call them out, particularly within a crowded place around the people that think they're so great, it'll crumble like that, and the mask will be gone, and everyone will see them for who they truly are. And that's what they fear the most, and that's what you have to do. Not only to leave them, but to call them out and expose them, save them from the next people. And oh, my eyes are glowing purple again. Ooh, I usually put contacts in when they do that. But anyway, they know no boundaries. They do not understand. They do not care. Everything revolves around them. Do not fall for their lies. Do not fall for their sales pitches. Expose them. Make them answer for their crimes and who they truly are, because they believe they have the right to be that person and treat people the way they do. They don't. Let's show them justice. Show them you have free will, and show them you can take vengeance in the name of Lilith.